I never thought I'd be the guy telling a story like this. You know the ones. The insane Reddit posts people binge at 2 a.m., shaking their heads and thinking, no way this actually happened. But life has a twisted sense of humor. Because here I am, sitting in my new apartment, with my one-eyed cat, Ollie, watching him stretch out on my couch like he owns the place. And I'm about to tell you how my best friend, first love, and person I trusted the most burned my life to the ground. And how, somehow, I crawled out of the wreckage. Molly and I grew up in the same small Ohio town where nothing ever really happened. The kind of place where your business is everyone's business. And if you did something embarrassing in second grade, you best believe Mrs. Thompson at the grocery store still remembers it 15 years later. Our families were close, too close. Barbecues every summer, joint family trips to the lake, Christmases spent together because our moms decided we were basically family anyway. I never questioned it. It was just life. Molly was the loud, outgoing one. The kind of girl who could talk her way out of detention and into an extra slice of cake at a birthday party. Me? I was quieter. More of the nerdy type, video games, coding, that whole thing. People always joked that we'd end up together. For years, I brushed it off. Until I didn't. It hit me like a truck sophomore year when she went a homecoming with Jake Peterson. Football star, perfect hair, drove his dad's shiny BMW like he was some Hollywood rich kid. I spent 2 weeks being an absolute asshole about it, making dumb jokes like, oh, hope he doesn't break a nail lifting his protein shake. She called me out on it one night while we were doing homework in my basement. Are you jealous? She tilted her head, eyes narrowing. I scoffed. What? No. That's stupid. It wasn't. And a year later, she kissed me first. It was clumsy and awkward, very on-brand for me. I panicked, knocked over my Mountain Dew, and in my attempt to clean it up, managed to headbutt her. She just laughed, called me an idiot, kissed me again, and that was it. We did the whole high school sweethearts thing. Went to prom together. Had late-night phone calls where we talked about everything and nothing. Held hands in the back seat during family road trips. Then came college. I got into a great tech program in Chicago. She stayed in Ohio for business school. We swore we'd make long-distance work. And at first, we did. Weekend visits, shared Netflix accounts, late-night FaceTime calls. We had a system. I thought we were solid. I was so stupid. After graduation, we finally moved in together. Tiny Chicago apartment, weird smell in the hallway that never went away, neighbors who argued loudly enough that we didn't even need Netflix for entertainment. But it was ours. We adopted Ollie, a one-eyed tabby who immediately decided his life mission was knocking my stuff off shelves. Molly was working at a marketing firm. I had a great job at a startup. We were building something. I was so damn happy. I even started saving for a ring. I should have known it was too good to be true. The red flags started small. She got weird about introducing me to her new co-workers. Always had an excuse. It's just a work thing, Adam. You'd be bored. Then came the late nights. The client dinners. The last-minute weekend projects. And then there was Travis, her department head. 15 years older. Wore expensive suits and had the kind of fake tan that screamed midlife crisis. His name started popping up too much in conversations. Still, I trusted her. I was idiot. The night everything imploded, I was pulling an all-nighter for a huge work deployment. Around 2 a.m., my phone died. I needed to message my team, but I couldn't find my charger. Molly's phone was sitting on the coffee table. I grabbed it without thinking, and that's when I saw it. A message from Travis. Miss you, baby. Can't wait for next time. My whole body went cold. I stared at the screen, my pulse hammering. My brain tried to rationalize it. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's... But my gut already knew. I opened the messages. Hundreds of them. Months worth of texts. Hotel receipts. Plans to meet up. Conversations about how she wished I'd just take the hint, so she wouldn't have to be the bad guy. And then, the worst one. He's still planning that stupid proposal. LOL. She knew. She knew about the ring. My sister must have let it slip. And she laughed about it. I don't know how long I sat there, scrolling through the wreckage of my relationship. Then I heard her voice. Adam? I looked up. She was standing in the hallway, rubbing her eyes, wearing the cat pajamas I bought her for Christmas. The same pajamas she probably wore after F.G. him. I held up her phone. Want to explain this? Her face didn't crumble. She didn't burst into tears or beg for forgiveness. She just sighed, like I'd asked her to take out the trash. Adam, come on. Can we not do this right now? It's late. I laughed. I actually laughed. A sharp, bitter sound that felt foreign in my own throat. You've been screwing your boss for months, and you want to talk about bad timing? She rolled her eyes. Like I was being dramatic. Like I was inconveniencing her. I was going to tell you. She folded her arms. I just didn't know how. Didn't know how. Not sorry. Not it was a mistake. Just, she didn't know how to tell me. Get out, I said quietly. She blinked. What? Get out. Adam, it's 2 a.m. You should have thought of that before you started F.G. your boss for a year. That shut her up. Her mouth opened, closed. Then she just shrugged. Like none of this really mattered. She packed a bag, took her laptop, her purse, a few things from the closet. I didn't say a word, didn't move, just sat on the couch, staring at nothing, while Ollie curled up beside me, purring like this was just another normal night. As she walked to the door, she hesitated. We should talk about this properly tomorrow. I didn't look at her. There's nothing left to talk about. She left. I locked the door. And then I sat there in silence, my hands still shaking, knowing this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The next morning, I woke up on the couch, my neck stiff, my mouth dry, and my brain fogged with exhaustion. For a second, just a second, I forgot. Then it hit me. Molly was gone. And not just gone. She was never coming back. Ollie stretched beside me, yawning dramatically before shoving his face into my hand for attention. I scratched his head absent-mindedly, staring at the ceiling. My body felt heavy. My mind felt empty. I checked my phone. Dozens of missed calls and texts. Some from my sister, Rachel. A couple from mutual friends. One from my mom. And then, Molly. Her name on my screen made my stomach turn. I clicked on her text. Molly. I told my parents we broke up. Didn't tell them why. Thought it'd be better that way. I stared at it. Better for who? I didn't reply. Rachel called again. This time, I answered. Finally, she snapped. You alive? Yeah. My voice came out hoarse. Good. Because I'm about to lose my F.G. mind. What the hell happened? I let out a slow breath, rubbing my temples. She cheated on me. Silence. Rachel wasn't often speechless. But when she finally spoke, her voice was dangerously calm. I knew something was off. F.G. knew it. Adam, she stopped herself, inhaling sharply. I'm coming over. You don't have to. The line went dead. I sighed. Ollie jumped onto my lap, his claws slightly digging into my thigh. I should have moved him, but I didn't. The dull pain reminded me that I was awake, that this was real, that I wasn't trapped in some twisted nightmare. Rachel arrived 20 minutes later, storming in like she was about to fight someone. All right, tell me everything. I told her. The texts. The hotels. The way Molly had barely even pretended to be sorry. By the time I finished, Rachel was pacing my living room, muttering curses under her breath. I can't believe this, she seethed. No, actually, I can't believe it. That manipulative little, she stopped, exhaling sharply. What do you need? A baseball bat? A lawyer? A shovel? Despite everything, I huffed out a tired laugh. Tempting. Rachel flopped onto the couch next to me. You gonna be okay? I didn't know how to answer that, so I didn't. Instead, I stared at my phone, at the unanswered text from Molly, and then, without really thinking, I blocked her number. Rachel grinned. Good start. I should have known it wouldn't be that easy. 2 days later, I got a call from my mom. Adam, she said, her voice hesitant. Honey, I need to ask you something. I frowned. Okay. She sighed. Did you cheat on Molly? The floor dropped out from under me. What? She said that you had been distant for a while, that she found out about someone else, and when she confronted you, you kicked her out. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Molly told you that? She told everyone that, Adam. My mom's voice cracked. And I don't know what to think. I gripped my phone so tightly my knuckles ached. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. She cheated on me, for months. But instead of owning up to it, she's telling everyone that I was the one who cheated? Silence. Then my mom whispered, I just need to hear the truth from you. That hurt more than anything. That she even had to ask. I swallowed, forcing my voice to stay steady. Mom, I never cheated on Molly. Not once. She's lying to you. Another pause. Then, quietly, she said, I want to believe you. I closed my eyes. That wasn't the same as I do believe you. And that F.G. broke me. It got worse. Molly wasn't just spinning the cheating story. She was going all in. The next day, Rachel called me. You are not going to believe this, T. At this point, I might. She's saying you stole from her family. I froze. What? She's telling everyone that you stole Lisa's heirloom jewelry. You know, the stuff worth like 50 grand? I felt a sharp, cold panic grip my chest. No, that's F.G. ridiculous. I didn't. I cut myself off, inhaling shakily. Rachel's voice softened. I know, Adam, but other people? They're eating that SHT up. I couldn't even speak. This wasn't just a lie. This was criminal. 3 days later, the cops showed up at my door. 2 officers. Professional. Serious. They weren't arresting me. Yet. But they had questions. I sat on my couch, Ollie watching from his perch, as they asked me where I'd been on specific dates. Dates that lined up exactly with the times I'd been at Molly's parents' house, helping Lisa's husband fix their computer. I told them the truth, but they didn't look convinced. And that's when I knew. This wasn't just a bad breakup. Molly was trying to ruin me. I closed my eyes, took a slow breath, and then, for the first time in my life, I said the words I never thought I'd have to say. I think I need a lawyer. Rachel was already on it. She got me in touch with Maria, a lawyer she knew from college. The moment I told Maria the situation, she let out a low whistle. This is bad, she said, but not impossible. That was something, at least. Maria leaned forward. We need evidence. Proof she's lying. I exhaled sharply. How the hell do we do that? She tapped her pen against the desk. We start digging. And that was when I stopped playing defense. If Molly wanted a war, she was about to F.G. get one. The thing about hitting rock bottom is, you don't realize you're there until you're already sinking into the F.G. ground. I thought Molly cheating was the worst thing that could happen to me. I was wrong. Because getting cheated on? That's personal. It sucks, yeah, but you can move on. Being falsely accused of theft? Having the cops show up at your door? Watching people who've known you your entire life look at you like they don't even recognize you. That kind of SHT stays with you. And Molly? She knew exactly what she was doing. I spent the next few days in survival mode. Rachel was my only real ally. She was the one who made sure I was eating. The one who dragged me to Maria's office when I felt too exhausted to deal with any of it. Maria wasted no time. We need to prove she's lying. Right now, it's her word against yours, and unfortunately, she's been planting these seeds for a while. I clenched my jaw. So what do we do? Maria leaned forward, tapping her pen against the desk. We look for inconsistencies. If she's lying, she's going to slip up. Rachel smirked. Molly's smart, but she's not that smart. That was the only thing keeping me sane. Because yeah, Molly was dangerous when it came to twisting reality. But she was also lazy. And lazy liars? They always leave cracks. The first break came from the most unexpected place. Linda. Yeah, Linda from HR at my old company. Rachel had reached out to her, hoping she might have something useful. And oh boy, did she ever. I was sitting on my couch, trying to force down a sandwich, when Rachel barged in, practically vibrating with excitement. You are not going to believe what I just found out. I barely looked up. Unless it's Molly confessed and is moving to Antarctica, I doubt it. Rachel smacked a folder down on the table. Linda, HR queen, came through. That got my attention. I sat up, wiping my hands. Rachel grinned. Turns out, Before all this hit the fan, Linda was already looking into Travis. My stomach flipped. Molly's boss. The one she was F.G.? Yeah, him. Rachel leaned forward. Turns out, some weird expense report started showing up before you two even broke up. Hotel stays. Client dinners that didn't match up. Charges Molly signed off on. I blinked. Are you saying she? Oh, I'm saying a lot of things, Rachel interrupted. But mostly, I'm saying Molly's been covering for Travis's embezzlement. I felt something shift in my chest. Like a door opening. A way out. Rachel smirked. Bitch framed you for stealing? Let's see how she likes it when the real thief gets exposed. Maria practically lit up when she saw the reports. This is huge, she said, flipping through them. This gives us leverage. If Molly's tied up in financial fraud, her credibility is gone. It wasn't proof I was innocent, not yet, but it was AFG start. Maria tapped her pen against the desk. We need more. Rachel crossed her arms. And how do we get more? Maria sighed. The best way? We get Molly to admit she's lying. I scoffed. Oh, sure. Let me just call her up and say, hey, can you casually confess to a felony? Thanks. Rachel snorted. Yeah, I don't think she's that stupid. Maria tilted her head. You'd be surprised. I frowned. She tapped the folder. People like Molly? They love controlling the narrative. If she thinks she still has power over you, she might let something slip. I stared at her. Are you saying I should talk to her? Maria shrugged. I'm saying, if the opportunity presents itself? She smiled. Hit record. I didn't have to wait long. 3 days later, Molly showed up at my door. I almost didn't answer, but then I remembered Maria's words. I took out my phone, hit record, and opened the door. Molly looked like Sage-T. Her makeup was smudged, her usually perfect hair a mess. She was still wearing her office clothes, but they were wrinkled, like she'd been up all night. Adam. Her voice was small, weak. I just stared at her. What do you want? She swallowed. Can we talk? I didn't move. Then, slowly, I stepped aside. She walked in, looking around like she was expecting the ghost of our past relationship to be waiting for her. Ollie, ever the judge of character, hissed from his spot on the couch. Molly flinched. He's never done that before. I crossed my arms. Guess he finally figured you out. She winced. I deserve that. I said nothing. She exhaled, rubbing her temples. Travis ked me over, Adam. I raised an eyebrow. Oh. She laughed bitterly. He told me he was leaving his wife, that we had a future. But the second I stopped being useful, he threw me under the bus. I tilted my head. And she hesitated. And then, quietly, she whispered, I'm scared. I clenched my jaw. Scared of what? She swallowed hard. The company is investigating him. HR questioned me. If they find out I helped, if they find out I knew, Adam, I could lose everything. She looked up at me, eyes pleading. And suddenly, I saw it. Not the confident, manipulative Molly I had known. Not the girl who stood in my apartment rolling her eyes when I confronted her about Travis. This was someone who had lost control. And she was terrified. I exhaled slowly. Molly. She nodded eagerly. Yeah. I leaned forward, voice calm. Did you frame me for the jewelry theft? She blinked. Then, hesitation. It was brief, but I saw it. The gears turning. The calculations running. And then, finally, in the quietest voice, she whispered, I didn't know what else to do. Gotcha. The second she left, I sent the recording to Maria. Her response? 3 words. She's F-ked. And for the first time in a year, I felt something close to hope. Molly had tried to ruin me. But now, it was her turn to burn. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice again. Small, shaking, desperate. I didn't know what else to do. She didn't say I didn't do it. She didn't deny it. She just panicked. And that tiny crack in her armor? That was all I needed. The next morning, I met Maria at her office. She was practically buzzing with excitement as she played back the recording. Oh, This is beautiful, she murmured, a slow smile spreading across her face. Textbook admission. I leaned forward. So what now? She clicked her pin. Now? We press charges. I exhaled. We're actually doing this? Maria gave me a look. Adam, she framed you for a felony. She lied to the police. She ruined your career, your reputation, your entire F.G. life. You want to let her walk? No. No, I didn't. I clenched my jaw. Do it. Maria grinned. Good choice. The fallout happened fast. Maria wasted no time turning over the recording to the right people. Molly's lawyer, the police, even her own damn parents. 2 days later, I got a call from Rachel. Dude, she breathed. Lisa knows. I sat up straight. Wait, Molly's mom? Oh yeah. Rachel let out a low whistle. Maria made sure she got a copy of the recording. And let's just say, it did not go well. I blinked. Define not well. Rachel snorted. Word on the street? Lisa threw Molly out of the house. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Holy SHT. Apparently, Rachel continued. She lost her F.G. mind when she realized Molly let you take the blame for her theft. Good. I had spent months drowning under this. Watching my parents doubt me. Losing friends. Losing my F.G. job. Molly deserved every bit of what was coming. Rachel sighed. I almost feel bad for her. I stayed silent. Because I didn't. I thought Molly would go into hiding. I was wrong. The next day, she showed up at my apartment again. I opened the door, already recording. Her eyes were red, her makeup smeared, her whole body trembling like she'd barely slept. Adam, please, she whispered. I stared at her. You need to leave. She shook her head rapidly. No, I don't know what to do. Her voice broke. My parents won't talk to me. My lawyer dropped me. I might, her breath hitched. I might get arrested. I crossed my arms. You should get arrested. Her whole body flinched. Adam, I messed up. I know that. But I was scared. Travis, she choked on the words. He was supposed to take care of me. I let out a sharp laugh. And instead, he threw you under the bus. She swallowed hard. I shook my head. That's exactly what you did to me, Molly. You threw me to the F.G. wolves to protect yourself. And now that it's happening to you? I leaned against the doorframe. Sucks, doesn't it? Tears streamed down her face. I don't know what to do. I tilted my head. Oh, that's easy. She blinked. I smirked. You should probably get a lawyer. The color drained from her face. And then, without another word, I shut the door. Molly got arrested a week later. Maria called me as soon as she found out. She's officially F.K'd, she said cheerfully. Fraud. Theft. Falsifying a police report. It's not looking good. I let out a slow breath. She deserves it. Yeah, Maria agreed. She does. It was over. For the first time in a year, I could breathe. I could move on. A month later, I ran into Lisa, Molly's mom, at the grocery store. I almost turned and walked out, but she saw me first. Her face crumpled. Adam. I froze. She took a shaky breath. Her voice broke. She shook her head. I don't expect you to forgive me. I need you to know how sorry I am. I swallowed hard. Lisa had been like a second mom to me, and she believed Molly's lies. I should have known, she whispered. You were family to us. And she let out a shaky breath. We failed you. I didn't say anything, because what was there to say? She looked down. I lost her too, you know. I frowned. She's my daughter, Lisa murmured, but I don't even know who she is anymore. For the first time in months, I felt something other than anger. I felt pity. Not for Molly, but for the people she'd left in the wreckage. Lisa wiped at her eyes. I won't keep you. I hope, someday, you'll find it in your heart to forgive us. I nodded. I didn't know if I ever could, but at least she asked. Life moved on. I got a promotion at work. Picked up climbing again. Took a trip to the mountains, just me and a rented cabin, to finally clear my head. And one day, I realized something. I hadn't thought about Molly in weeks. That was the real victory. Not the lawsuit. Not the settlement money. Just peace. Real, genuine peace. I thought about what Lisa said for a long time. I lost her too, you know. For months, I'd been so focused on how Molly ruined my life that I never really considered what it cost her. And honestly, I didn't feel bad for her. Not even a little. But I did feel bad for the people she left in the wreckage. Lisa, her dad, the people who trusted her, the people who had to wake up one day and realize the person they thought they knew never really existed at all. But that wasn't my problem anymore. Molly wasn't my problem anymore. For the first time in a long, long time, I was free. Rachel came over the night Molly was sentenced. We didn't talk about it. She just walked in, tossed a six-pack on the table, and flopped onto my couch like she owned the place. "You got any food? Or are you still living off Red Bull and existential dread?" she asked, already heading for the fridge. I snorted. "There's frozen pizza." Rachel made a face. "Christ, you need a girlfriend." I just shook my head, grabbing 2 beers and handing her one. "Not in a rush." Rachel smirked. "Good. You still have way too many trust issues for that to say." She wasn't wrong. But for the first time, that didn't bother me. Because I wasn't rushing to fix things. I was just living. I didn't hear from Molly again. Last I checked, she took a plea deal. No prison time, but a criminal record and a financial penalty that was gonna haunt her for years. I could live with that. She got off easy compared to what she put me through. But in the end, it didn't matter. Because I won. Not just in court. I got my life back. My career. My FG piece. And Molly? Molly was just someone I used to know. A year later, Rachel dragged me to some charity gala. "For a good cause," she said. "Because you never leave the house," she meant. I rolled my eyes but went anyway. And that's where I met Claire. She was nothing like Molly. She didn't play mind games. She didn't put on a fake smile to charm a room. She was just real. We spent the whole night talking. About travel, about books, about the worst jobs we'd ever had. She laughed at my terrible jokes. I liked the way she scrunched her nose when she was thinking. For the first time in years, I felt something stir in my chest. Not love. Not yet. But hope. And as I walked her to her car that night, Ollie's fur still clinging to my jacket, I realized I was finally free.